Hello guys! So, I got my hands on a Whitewoods core, and yeah, it's called White Forest now. And I got it at the WCQ, where I sadly scrubbed out playing a certain deck called Drytron. It was the better choice than the Dogmatika pile that I was about to take, but the power level of the event is just way too high for anything that is not Fiendsmith or a Shifter deck to compete. And, well, here is something I've been working on ever since. It's still not even close to being done. I need a lot of help with this deck. I need to finally be able to test again, because in my current situation, I'm not able to play Dueling Book, and playing YGO Omega is pretty bad testing. So anyways, let's get into the deck profile. And I'll also show you guys two combos later on. We are playing, if I'm correct, 43 cards. So first of all, for the Dogmatika package, when I play Dogmatika, I really want to play the entire thing and not just it as an engine. So I'm going as hard as I can without playing bad cards. 3 Ecclesia, 1 Ashian, 1 Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis, and 1 Dogmatika Maximus. And the honorable Dogmatika card, Blazing Cartesia. This is our normal monsters, our normal effect monsters. And for our ritual monsters, Albazoa, White Relic, and White Knight of Dogmatika. This guy has the most issues in this entire deck because it completely contradicts the entire Whitewoods package. But to be honest, I still love this card so much for what it can sometimes do situationally. And in general, all the situational cards in this deck kind of make what this deck does. In specifically, like, you can react to a lot of situations. You can out pretty much any Towers monster with Relic. This card can make grinding really awkward for your opponent. And Zoa is, of course, the big beat stick that is annoying to out and usually causes your opponent not to be able to OTK you unless they are specifically Yubel or Tenpai. And yeah, so this is the Dogmatika monsters we're playing for this package. As next, we are playing another engine that is not Whitewoods and not Dogmatika. Toy Box and 1 Toy Soldier. You can play the usual Whitewoods package with Toy Box is 2 of this, 1 tank, and 3 of the box. I do not want to play more than this because the tank doesn't do anything for us specifically. And you basically only need 1 spell send, technically 2 sometimes, but Toy Box is like the second one. And if you really need it back, you can add it back, and that thing is not even once per turn, so you can set yourself the Toy Soldier as a follow-up thing, which is okay. And there are some combos revolving both the Dogmatika package and the Toy Soldier package, even and as well, of course, as the Whitewoods package, that are fairly neat. And I'll get towards it in the end. So for the White Forest package, we are playing Triple Stellar. She is the card that usually causes the most crazy YouTube combos. And she's also, of course, the best summon in this deck because she makes everything super efficient. But Rosette is like a really good extender if you got the spells. And 2 Sylvie, as well as 1 Rukia, or Rushia, or however you want to pronounce it. In general, I like this ratio. You could play maybe 3 Elzuts, but we're not runic, so we can't just say no Stellar. For our Whitewoods spells and traps, we're playing 1 Tails because playing 3 of it feels awful in this deck. 1 Woes, and that's it. Woes is an endboard piece, and Tails basically just exists as an extender if we already draw Woes. So we could technically add Ruchia and get some draws and whatever. So that's counts up all the monsters. For Dogmatika spells, Nadir Servant, cracked as usual. Matrix has some nice combos. The ritual spells because they're ritual spells. And Dogmatika Punishment because sometimes you just open Ecclesia in a dream and this is the best way to realize your dream. Even though it kind of counteracts the idea that Whitewood's cards grind pretty solidly. At least compared to the branded engine, which, like, after one time using branded fusion, you never can use it again, unless you like play double Albaus, and even then it's like kind of weird. Non-engine, we don't play enough, but 1 talents, triple droplet, triple imperm, triple thrust. Basically, setting spells, and what you can do with thrust into this deck is if you get hand trapped, you can set yourself one of the Whitewoods cards, and like if you set Woes, it's technically an interruption, and if you set Tails, what you can do is if you have a Whitewoods extender like Elzat, you can send the Tails to the graveyard, and then resolve Elzat's combo and use Tails to add back. And that's a very good way to possibly extend further using the Whitewoods cards. And that is the main deck. Side deck I have not built yet because I am honestly probably not going to play this deck until the much needed ban list drops. Despian Lulu Baluth is probably the most important synchro monster in the deck, except for the Whitewoods monsters, mainly because it's level 12, and I'm considering to play 2 of them, but I only own 1. I am considering to cut one of the 2 Arclights for the second one, because this card is actually summonable pretty easily in this deck by multiple ways. Either you cheat it out with Grangranol, or you actually hard synchro summon this, which this card actually has some synergy with Dogmatika because if cards leave the extra deck, and if you control this plus White Knight, this is a negate, which is okay. It's a little bit slow, but it's nice, and this card is pretty. Then Whitewood Synchro Monsters. The most important Whitewood Synchro Monster is Ruchia. Not Ruchia, Rosalia. Because she adds light spellcasters. And of course Whitewood's cards. Then Silvera. This is an endboard piece. She, on summon, not once per turn, books your entire opponent's field, and she causes your illusion and spellcasters to do piercing, as far as I remember, like double piercing. Oh yeah, your illusion and spellcaster synchro monsters. If it said not generally spellcaster and illusion, it would be so funny to use Dogmatika Albazoa as basically a Chaos Max Dragon. Just imagine the possibilities. And then Diabelle, she's mostly important for the Estelar line. We'll get towards it. But she's also an endboard piece because she summons out Silvera. Then this is an honorary Whitewoods monster because this is easy to summon. Specifically if you open both Whitewoods and Toy Engine, or if you turn 3 and have some Dogmatika monsters laying around. And then the best synchro send target for Dogmatika itself, Golden Cloud Beast Melong is mandatory. Link monsters. Most importantly, I think, in theory, this is super important because if your Whitewood stuff gets stopped by 1 or 2 imperms, usually, like, if you normal summon a Stellar, and a Stellar is your, like, only Whitewoods cards in your hand, and that gets instantly impermed, you basically have to play this to be able to play further. Same goes if you normal summon Sylvie. And the thing with Sylvie is she has more than 1000 attacks, so you cannot play Owl Mirage. So you have to link into this, because this is a spellcaster. SP Little Knight, because this card, honestly, is ban-worthy. People love this design, but I think this card is just stupid. 1 Grand Gurnal. I wished I could play 2. But in general, this card is also an endboard piece, and sometimes maybe a way to extend. Titanic Cloud. I wished I could play 2, but we only have space for 1. 1 Garura and 2 Elder Entity Entos. This is non-negotiable in this build. Like, the only thing that you could do, technically, is cut the Grand Guinol if you're cutting the Cartesia. But I like the Cartesia so much that she basically has to be in the deck. So there are 2 combos that I actually want to show with this deck. So first of all, we go with the... Actually, we go with the Whitewoods combo because that's what you're actually here for. And then I'll get to the spicy toy box combo that you can do. So let's go with the standard Stellar combo. For that, we need a Stellar and we need Dogmatika Matrix. Or Nadir Servant, of course. Nadir Servant is slightly stronger, but Matrix is good enough too. So for this combo, what we have to do is, first of all, normal summon a Stellar. Then we activate her effect, sending the Dogmatika Matrix to the graveyard, to special summon Sylvie from our deck, and Sylvie is going to activate her effect to add Woes of the White Forest. Then you synchro summon here to go into Rosalia. Rosalia is going to activate her effect to send Woes of the White Forest, and add to your hand a light spellcaster. And that light spellcaster is going to be one of our ritual monsters, usually Albazoa, because Albazoa has the least amount of clash with this deck. So you add Albazoa. Then you get 2 triggers. Chainlink 1, you're going to trigger a Stellar, and Chainlink 2, Wolves of the White Forest. This is how you play around Ghost Spell in this situation. So you set this, and you special summon a Stellar's Chainlink 1. Then you go Synchro Summon for 8 for your Diabel. Then Diabel's effect is going to activate, putting to our field the Dogmatika Matrix, giving it to our hand. We activate it, finally, and we are going to search ourselves Dogmatic Calamity. And with Dogmatic Calamity, we are going to ritual summon the ritual monster we picked out, in this case Alazon, by, in this case, sending Despian Lulu Lilith. Now we're locked out of the extra deck. Lulu Lilith effect is going to in the end phase special summon something. We're going to use Matrix effect to either look at our opponent's extra deck, or if we don't want to do that, we can instead send in the Titanic Lad if our end board is too weak, or if we ask our opponent if he's playing 45 cards and he's playing Fiendsmith Snake Eye because he's playing 45. Yeah, we send Titanic Cloud. We already know the matchup. And then in the end phase, we are going to add to our hand via our effects the Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis as one of the interruptions that we're playing. And for our other play, we're going to special summon Cartesia. Technically, what you could also do is special summon Ecclesia here to add the Fleur-de-Lis instead. It doesn't matter, we already played into Nib and it's in the end phase, so Nib cannot even be activated. So next thing, so how this board works is we have Cartesia, we have a Diabel. So if our opponent does anything, we can use a Diabel effect to send Matrix to graveyard. And this allows us to special summon to our side of the field a Silvera. And then we can activate the effect of Silvera. If our opponent wants to droplet it, we can chain this. And then we can fuse into our Granguinol, technically. Or whatever. That's what we can. That's one of the options we can do. And because we triggered Diabel to send a card, we get to special summon a Stellar, technically. But we do not do that here. Another thing we get to do is activate Sylvie effect. And then we chainlink 2 Sylvie, chainlink 1 Woes of the White Forest to shuffle back Silvera, to special summon from our deck Elzot, and then we special summon Sylvie, and then we can synchro summon again into another Silvera, and Silvera gets to trigger again because this card is not once per turn. So we get 2 field books. We get a monster negate here. We get Granguinol send, and we get Granguinol follow-up. And we also get for our follow-up here the Elzup trigger because we summon Silvera. So we're going to start our field usually like this, minus the stuff that your opponent has outed. And you always have Elzep plus random draw, which is already pretty good, because with Elzep you can technically continue to combo, because we still have Tales of the White Forest in our deck. So that's one of the endboards I've been thinking of mainly. I've been also theory crafting with Silhat Rabbit, but it's just another brick. Even though, like, it's not even that bad because we can send the brick and add it back with Diabel, which is pretty nice. But let's actually get to the toy box synergy with Dogmatika engine, because that one is not as obvious. So for that, we need a toy box, and we need an Nadir Servant. So first of all, you activate toy box. You're going to set yourself the toy soldier. Then you're activating Nadir Servant, sending Elder Entity Entos to add to your hand Dogmatika Maximus. Give me a moment to find him. He's chilling here. So you add Maximus to your hand. New chain, effect, Entos, trigger, pop Toy Soldier effect, special summoning himself because we control Toy Box. We get to add to our hand Ecclesia. Then we get to normal summon Ecclesia and effect. But first, before we do that, we're going to resolve Maximus, banishing the Entos. Then we do the send 2, which is going to send Garura and Arclight. Then we chainlink 2 Garura, chainlink 1 Arclight. To add to our hand the ritual spell that we need, or the ritual monster, depending on what our draw is, and we get a random draw. Then we get to normal summon Ecclesia. Ecclesia's effect is going to activate to search ourselves the Dogmatika matrix. Dogmatika matrix is going to activate its effect to search ourselves the missing piece. So Albazoa, or in this specific case, maybe White Knight is a little bit better because we get another interruption, because our board currently lacks interruptions. Then you get to Calamity for White Knight. This is our 4th summon, by the way. And for this, we are going to send Titaniclad. And then we're going to activate Matrix Effect to send Diabel, not Diabel, Despian Luluva Lilith. And then in the end phase, we get ourselves access to the Blazing Cartesia, and we get to add to our hand Dogmatika Fleur-de-Lis, or any Dogmatika card that we currently desire. So we add, in this case, Fleur-de-Lis. And currently our field is kind of packed, but that's fine. So we have 1 draw, Fleur-de-Lis, and we have Cartesia and White Knight set up, or Albazoa Rip. And that's a little bit of stuff that you can do with the Toy Box engine and the Dogmatika engine if you draw Nadir, which is pretty good. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, working on this is pretty overdue. I really want to figure out if this is any good. In playtesting on Omega against bad opponents, the grind of the stack and the gas that it has turn 3 feels absolutely amazing compared to the branded version. But the combos are way more fragile to nib and require more cards, because you can't just normal summon a Stellar like you can activate Branded Fusion. And also you need to play more cards than 40 to play adequate amounts of non-engine. But at least you have a lot of engine that gets you into Dogmatika stuff, which is pretty nice and pretty fun. I hope you guys have a lot of ideas in the comments. I need every idea that you can come up with, if possible. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to lay out the extra deck if you guys want to figure out anything that you can like possibly cut or change. And maybe you guys can playtest this deck a little bit more, because as of now, I am not able to play Dueling Book, because Dueling Book is laggy as if I was on the moon. But all in all, I think this deck should be competent. And most importantly, it should be fun. If Fiendsmith Snake Eye and Tenpai and Shifter gets addressed, I think this deck might be actually playable as like a fun rogue contender, maybe regional contender if you're really good at it. Yeah, this is the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys. Bye.